Good afternoon, good evening. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:58 PM. All three members of the Finance Committee are present, along with Paul Rochette, town resident. And let's go to the first item on the agenda.
Wonderful.
Right. First, if any of you guys had any public comments or anything you've received?
No.
Corey, anything?
No, other than our IT budget will probably be going up after this year. For technology,
Okay.
specifically in this recording scenario. So, but we'll be discussing that on Monday with the board.
One of the, they asked for opera funds. Right, recommendations. My recommendation was, I said, the finance committee doesn't really have anything. However, the town is greatly lacking in technology, software, hardware is what I said. So anywhere you spend money on that, I think is good.
And our newest selectman, Aaron, had mentioned that doing online payments, not even online payments, but doing, so for our budget consideration process, if we had access to the largest suite of Office 365 and having a centralized SharePoint where the departments can go in there and add in their budgets dynamically, right? So it's a shared session. We could get that information quicker instead of having it on paper. And that's a huge thing, right?
Yeah,
So,
that would be great.
highway department's just entering in things on a spreadsheet, and then police department and then fire department, different tabs or in different sheets for that matter on SharePoint. And so that would cost extra to the town, but again, it would bring us to an easier collaboration dynamically.
It would. I think the challenge will be you have a number of departments that still submit their budgets
That's fine.
in paper. So we would have to have someone that takes the time.
But at least it starts the ball rolling, and then probably myself volunteering my time to help people transition to like just having if they have a computer anywhere, you can log into it. You have email, so you already know how to log into that, and just going further with it. So I think it brings our town closer to that because like our tax bills, I don't pay on time, unfortunately, because I don't come down here like that to pay a check. I'd rather pay online and pay the fee. And that's to be honest with you. And
Well, on that same subject, I did chat back and forth with Suzanne today.
Mhm.
And she got I think you guys have copies of it this evening. She got the budget updated with all of the activity through September in the budget book for the 25 budget. So she's got that ready. She said she's gonna get with you in the near future to go over that. She said you had reached out, but she wasn't ready to do it. She did it today.
She texted me November 13th.
Yeah.
She would have availability,
Okay.
but it was 11/13, and so it might have been a typo. It could have been 10/13. So
Oh, okay.
we'll find out.
Okay.
Some
Which
people are
is-
busy that means even we'll find out.
Yeah, she's dealing with a lot of things with the family, so.
Yep.
But, any other inquiries from anyone or anything? I've got a couple of new business items we'll get to when we get there. I have on the agenda to review the fiscal year 2024 expense versus budget. But we don't have October yet. We reviewed September, if you remember last month, we met. One thing that came up when I went back and looked at September this morning, just out of curiosity, is, you guys saw this or if anyone picked it up on it, but the police department part-time salaries. They're running for the first couple of months. I'll put it this way, their budget for the year is 26,000. In the first 3 months, they spent 15.5 of it. Wasn't hiring the full-time chief going to result in a reduction in part-time hours?
yes,
So I haven't seen the chief in a month, so I don't know what's going on there. Is everything
so the fiscal year ended when?
July 1st? Well, the start of the new year, June 30th.
So
June
when he
30th.
became full-time.
Yes,
So that means he has not let anybody go.
something's not working the way it was supposed to, is what I think.
Okay, so the first half of the year, he's still the same, or it's more obvious.
I didn't go and look at what the budget was prior years. Paul, do you recall?
No.
I didn't look that up. See, that's a good question, but he spent over half of the budget. Like he spent 60% of the budget in the first 3 months. for
Just the
part-time.
personnel.
Just on the personnel, part-time salaries, yeah. So I'm going to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Monday. I will make a point to ask that question because I don't know how we missed it in September when we reviewed it, but we did. I went back over and said, okay, that's, that hasn't gone down. So maybe it's gone down since, maybe it went down in October, but we don't know.
Could there be a miscoding issue that we've had a few of those recently?
Yeah, that's possible.
Because we don't see the detailed breakdown of what goes into that number, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Actually, it's in the spreadsheet that Suzanne has. I mean, Laura sends it out when it comes in the form that is sent out to everybody. It doesn't have that kind of detail.
Yeah.
So, but it is there. We have it. It's in Excel. I don't think it would be in what she just sent to us.
Okay.
I mean, she has it in she has the full file, but she doesn't send the full backup and everything. She just keeps that, but it is there. We can check that. A couple other things on the budget that I went back and looked at that caught my eye. Council on Aging. I'm trying to remember if I brought this up last time or not. Hang on. Okay, this isn't the Council on Aging, but one of the one I highlighted, the Quabbin School Bond. Did we budget for that?
For the chiller or for which?
No, the chiller's okay. There's a charge.
The new bond.
There's a charge here for $3,714 that we paid last month. And we didn't budget anything for it. It just says Quabbin School Bond.
So they,
All of the money borrowed as far as for Quabbin and stuff should be all debt excluded. So it should be front loaded as debt excluded money.
does this have to do with the fact that they came in last week and the week before in regards to the new?
chiller?
No, it was remember they came in to reassess, they're saying that because of Hubbardston or some other town, they're doing like a reassessment of, I think maybe that was for the chiller, right?
Well, what they were coming in for recently was strictly on the chiller.
Okay, it was on the chiller, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
They had a mutual agreement that had to be approved by all 5 towns to use the disbursement based on school enrollment for FY '22. All 5 towns had to agree to that, otherwise the assessments would change every year depending on school population. So that's what they were trying to correct. Because we in New Braintree were paying full boat up front. They didn't know how to handle it, so they went to their legal people and they suggested that this agreement be forwarded to all 5 towns, and if all 5 towns agreed to it.
But again, that was for the chiller.
That was strictly
Right,
for the
this is
chiller.
something for $3,700. The chiller was what, 48,000, wasn't it? Right around 48,000.
Somewhere around there.
This is something different that showed up that I don't know what it is. I just don't know if either one of you recall anything about a Quabbin bond that.
No.
Okay. Have to ask.
The numbers look around 17,522.69 is the latest numbers I see from Lori for police overtime.
Right, and the budget's 26,000 for the whole year.
Right.
So,
We'll look at the
Yeah.
updated one from Susan,
okay.
see where that might be available.
And I think I brought this up last time, is the Council on Aging. It looks like they're charging the coordinator to a annual town meeting from 6/27/22 that isn't funded, it's all been used. And they're not charging it against the proper accounts. We gotta get that corrected.
Was that the extra $1,000 that was voted in at the annual town meeting?
I don't think so, no. It doesn't show us that. It shows as 0, but it shows as they spent 1,908. If it was 1,000, they've still overspent it by 908. And when you look at the director's stipend, it's 10,300 and it shows that 0 has been spent. So
That's kind of wild.
we're 4 months in and she should be getting paid every month, I'm assuming. And it's probably close to 800 a month. If you're getting up to 10,000. So again, something we gotta, I think that's the coding here, because again, it shows up down below that there's 2,000, which would be 2 months charged to an account that has no money in it. It's actually charged to an old annual town meeting account. 5801, yeah, okay. Okay, so things will, I'll check with the Board of Selectmen at the meeting on Monday, because I'm gonna
And
go.
I'll be there.
You're
so-
gonna be there too.
Yep.
Corey, I know you can't go, you've got family stuff on Monday, so. So those are the things I had on the budget. Actually, we don't have October data yet, so I wasn't gonna try to spend any more time on that, unless one of you guys had some comments.
No, October data comes in at the end of the month or at the middle of the month?
It's closed by now. I think they closed about after the first week is where it seems to, we've seen it as early as the 5th, 6th, 7th. But it just depends on if somebody's late getting something in, Lori has to wait until it's all there. So she's probably waiting on somebody to submit something and hasn't been able to close it. Next thing on the agenda is the budget calendar for fiscal year 2025. Did you get a chance to look at it?
Yes,
Actually, you sent me a note back that you thought it was pretty comprehensive and you didn't have any suggested.
that was on the meeting minutes.
Oh, that was on the meeting minutes.
But
Okay,
yeah.
you said something I saw on my phone.
The dates I thought were very nicely laid out.
Okay. Did you look at it, Steve?
Yeah, I have no. Or
The only thing I got is I got a note back from the Board of Selectmen. Don sent it. I'm assuming the other members are in agreement that they really want to try to target to be complete and ready to have the annual town meeting mid to late May versus in June.
The only thing that seemed infeasible on that list was where we were trying to set a goal for the school budget.
we can't do that. It's not under our control.
Yeah,
But there's a date when they have to submit it. And it was April 30th this past year.
And that takes into account the state.
That's the state, I think the state is
Okay.
involved in that. We don't set that date, Corey, you're correct. I know the date last year, or this past one was April 30th, and I think I left the same date in there until we have something to update. So we'll just have to wait on that. Yeah, I had nothing else on the budget calendar. I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, it was really the same format we used last year. Last year's budget process went well overall, I thought, and we weren't scrambling at the last minute. We were out in front of it. So I don't see any need to change anything if it gets moved up by a couple of weeks. I think we were ready by mid-May this past year anyway.
Yep.
Because we just kind of waited until with the mail out.
Because of school.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. Another thing too, that's gonna be coming down the pike from the last Board of Selectmen meeting was the library.
Yeah, I've had some new stuff.
Yeah,
for us today.
Right, because they,
I don't understand. There was a couple of things in the library. One was a roof repair, which I hadn't really heard anything about.
that's new to me, because everything we were talking about was water.
Yeah. And as far as the,
They need water.
I don't have anything concrete on the water outside of the fact they don't know what they're gonna do. And I believe the select people were leaning towards ARPA money for whatever it's gonna cost.
Can we hold off on that till we get to the new business?
Sure.
Just so I'm trying to sit with the
Yep,
agenda as much as
understood.
we can instead of jumping all over the place.
I know, yeah.
On the budget calendar, the other thing that is going to be really crucial is getting, Corey, you and Suzanne together. Because that's where all that data lies to send out 2 or 3 years. Should be at least 2 years. I think she's up to 3 years now of history.
Yeah.
So when we send out the budget, we're gonna have to, I want to try to draft a suggested memo for the Board of Selectmen to include in that, asking various departments to go back and look at their 3-year history when we provide it to them. And, for example, I won't use a name, but there's some that have, an $8,000 or $10,000 budget that every year spend 5 or 6, and then just automatically put in the full amount. And then we're sometimes scrambling for funds somewhere else. So I think there's some cleanup that can be done in the budget if we get that history out there, Corey. So that's kind of why I keep pressing you and Suzanne to just, when we get to sending that stuff out in November, I think we want to put a letter in asking each department head to go back and look at their history. I don't know if you want to draft the letter or if you want me to, or.
When you get that data, can you also send it to me so I can archive it? I have a storage unit at my house that I archive all this data on.
but we have it now as of 8 minutes before the meeting
Yeah.
started, when
Yes.
Suzanne sent that
In
out.
September. And I didn't even open it up when I started. Okay, that's probably, we're not gonna sit here and.
But I just want to archive this stuff so that God forbid if any of us we have
Yeah, no, that's good.
historical, so.
But that I think is a key step for the budget. I mean, would you agree, Paul? I mean, that was kind of one of the things we talked about for a couple of years. It would be nice to have history. I think Claire was going to do that at one point and then it just didn't evolve.
We have our historical data.
Yeah, no, I remember we were gonna send it to each one of the departments, and we never actually did. We just always sent them 1 year and said, based on the 1 year, make your next year's budget. That's hard. You know, I think it'd be easier if they get 3 years of history.
I don't like level 7 managing. I like the budget for what you used last year and then go from there. And then we have a reserve, right? But I don't know if that requires a town vote to move funds around or whatnot, but
The finance reserve, you mean?
yeah,
That,
so,
no, that just needs the finance committee vote.
okay, because like I'd rather them get what they used and then we have extra. And if they don't use it, we saved money, right? And then if they need it, we're like, okay, we can release it without having to do some type of special action.
Yeah, that's where the finance committee reserve funds, basically the board of selectmen would make a recommendation and then we have to approve the recommendation to use the funds.
Of course.
So it's straightforward.
I need more salt.
Right, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Anything else on the budget or anything as far as fiscal year 25? Anything?
Not right now.
Okay. New business. You started another library.
Sorry, then
That's-
that's
yeah.
right. It's like, not right now. but
Yeah,
yes.
let's talk about what we know on that. I can tell you what I know as of late this afternoon.
So from what I understand.
Can you wait, give me 1 second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just so we, I think we're gonna rehash a lot of stuff that
Okay,
maybe
yeah,
may
just
not
go
need to be
for it.
rehashed.
Yep.
Sam will let the board of selectmen know on the following. Sam informed me that they are looking into all options for the well dilemma. It looks like the least costly options will be to either deepen the library's existing well or drill a new well in the library's front yard. That seems to be where they think they're at now.
So what they said at the meeting is a little different.
Okay,
They can't drill the existing one for whatever reason, I think was what we were told. And then drilling in the front of the library, they'd have to, they were looking at the well that was at the old post office in the gazebo. Do you not remember that conversation? They were talking like that across the street.
The way I understood it, they did try to go down through the original well and apparently couldn't for whatever reason. Then they tried moving 10 feet away and actually drilling another well and they couldn't get through the rocks. So that particular company just said, really, there's nothing that we can do. And then there is a well towards the cheese factory. And you were wondering if that was a viable well, and it would cost them $2,500 to have that well tested, just to see if it's viable. And another option was trying to tie into the well that supplies this building and the church. And Aaron Langlois said that's problematic because if there are more than 15 attachments to the well, it becomes a public water supply, which has to be tested, I don't know, weekly or monthly or whatever, but apparently it's quite an expense to go through that process. And the attachment, what an attachment is any sink, any toilet, any outside faucet, whatnot. So they're already probably over that limit between the church and this building right now.
It also is based on, the mass DEP laws are also based on the number of people
And that's
who
what
drink that water on a continual basis and on an annual basis.
it's actually 15 total connections for 25 people for at least 60 days a year. And then it's considered a public water supply.
I'll make this a little easy.
So that would become like a nightmare logistically.
It's so from a finance perspective, right?
Yeah, that's,
So
And then there's another well that they were talking about that's actually on the common. Because they suggested maybe drilling on the common and having a, trench across Maple Street.
Right.
So they really don't know what to do. And then you came up with, apparently looking at another well company that said they might be able to go down in the
That was-
original well.
that was one of the emails that they're kind of looking at going back to that plan. To see if that could be done. And they got a different well company that they're talking to about it. To put a sleeve down the existing well and try to go down. I know, but then, because if you, I've got, I got like 15 emails. Believe me, there's a lot of them.
I mean,
What, the finance committee was not included on any of them, so that's why we weren't aware of this, but there's a lot of stuff going back and forth. And the gist of it is, the way I've read everything is, based on costs, they kept looking for the least costly option. So the company that was now going to take a look at it, it sounds like, was one of the more expensive options, 20,000, something in that range. So they kept looking at what else we could do that wouldn't cost as much. So they kind of come back around saying, okay, maybe we're gonna have to pay the money to go that route.
Right, because what you're talking about is assessment, maybe. I want like, okay, this is it, right? I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole of the cheese factory, this and that, and then all of a sudden we're at like $7,000, and I'm like, we still don't have any water, and we're getting close to winter. I mean, I guess they'll drill through it, but I mean, I feel bad for kids that go there. And to be honest, fix the existing well. I don't understand. We have the technology.
One of the things that I think again, it doesn't concern the finance committee, but I think one of this may also become an issue is Sam put in her email to Aaron, actually his response to Aaron. Sam spoke with DEP on the public water supply requirements. And a Paula Karen from DEP was quite concerned that the town hall and the church aren't considered a public water supply system. So we sent Aaron all the contact information to see if Aaron was going to follow up on that or not. So that, but again, that's another issue separate from the library, the town hall. If that became an issue, could be an issue for us. But from a finance perspective, I mean, looking at the town's funding, we haven't used any of the reserve account. At some point, I expect there will be a request to help pay for the well work from the reserve fund. I don't know if ARPA funds qualify for that or not. Does anyone know?
Now, yeah, just
$6,000
informational,
worth?
okay, on the town website, there is a list of all the things already that ARPA money has been spent on. And then another list of proposals. Plus a request from any department who might have an idea what they would like to spend ARPA money on. So it's just like a 2-page thing on the town website. If you know, we want to bring that up and take a look at it.
And they added the ARPA Flex as well to introduce those three new categories.
So I think initially it was over $100,000 still remaining in ARPA funding. And I think the requirements are that the money doesn't have to be spent by December. But whatever proposal there are have to be submitted before the end of December.
Paul, do you know if it was where it was on the website?
I know it was in the town website. I think if you go to the home page, I think there was a
News.
flag
It
somewhere.
went to news. Find it fast. So I looked for it after you told me it was there and I couldn't find it.
Maybe look under the selectmen then. Just reading down the brown side, yeah.
ARPA, there it is, yep, under this one.
I see.
Okay, good, that's what we, again, don't have to go through that tonight, but I couldn't find it when you told me it was in there. I went
Okay,
looking
yeah.
for it, and I said, okay, I can't find it, but I just looked on the homepage, I didn't go into the selectmen's page. Total of 108,000, yeah.
And projects, 40,000. It's not gonna cost 6,000 for the well.
The other thing that I don't know, which may be related to the ARPA money, is I don't know what the list of repairs are that are being put together for the center school.
We spent 210, there's still 108 in allocation. And the pending is 40,000.
But anyway, I want to make sure we're all aware of the well issue, so that there was a lot of emails that circulated really between.
Can I ask you a question? There's no way it's gonna cost. It says 6,000, but it's still missing 0, but
No, Dawn told me that they had plugged that in actually a number of weeks ago as a placeholder when they didn't really know what it was gonna cost.
600.
Well, that's when they thought it was just gonna be, you know, I don't say a quick, but a less expensive project.
Okay.
So that's been plugged in, he said, for a number of weeks now, going back into September. So it'll be higher.
And then the board of selectmen will take care of the interactions with DEP.
It would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if there is any. Like I said, I don't know if Aaron was gonna follow up on that note from Sam or not, and it'll be up to them. But,
Because that'll be a cost of at least 3,500 a year for a certified water operator to
is that what it is?
test the system monthly. And you're looking at 75 to 125 per test. So that's gonna be a $10,000
Operating cost.
operating cost.
But I mean,
And there's a few fees in there actually for the state that you have to pay.
I mean, again, in my opinion, it's a library should have a separate water system in a story. If we can, let's not explore, if this company says, and this is my opinion from a finance perspective, if they can do it, putting that sleeve down, but from what we heard on Monday, last Monday, that it wasn't possible with the other company, but these guys say they can do it, okay?
Again, maybe the emails aren't accurate either. I mean, it's just it's one person saying.
We'll
they
find
think
out Monday.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to make sure you guys were aware, but you're probably more aware of it. It sounds like than I was because I was in California for a while.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't follow, got any meetings for the last couple of weeks. Anything else on the well? Any other comments or
No.
thoughts? No, okay. Fire truck?
He started looking at it, didn't he secure it?
No, what he told me is that, let's see. The borrowing is in process. By Tuesday, October 24th, all bids will be in, looking for interest rates. The Board of Selectmen will have it on the agenda October 30th to sign all paperwork, and we will have the money by November 15th is the current timeline. So I'd asked the question if there's anything that the Finance Committee needed further, we needed to do, because we kind of brought it forward, you know, and then it gone. And really, Wendy, the treasurer collector, current, has been running the traps, because she's got to do the overrides, information out to the tax people and everything, file the forms with the state. So it sounds like it's all moving properly along.
If we have an ETA in delivery?
It was in the Bear Gazette that it was gonna be pretty soon. I can't remember. Did you see that, Paul? I think it was the Bear Gazette. that
I
had an article
don't
on
know
it.
if I saw it or somebody
I saw
told me, but they said they hope to have it like within 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, so which is the same as the timeline
Yeah.
is because when Wendy sent this out, she said that she's asking to be on the agenda with the Board of Selectmen Monday, October 30th, to sign the final paperwork. So once she,
Not this week, but the next.
right, next, not this meeting, but the next one. So once the final paperwork is signed, again, she says we'll have the money by November 15th. So I'm sure once we have the money, it's just a matter of releasing the money to the company up in, was it New Hampshire,
Vermont.
Vermont? And that'll be it. So that sounds like it's pretty much done. So that's gone very smooth. That's all I had for new business.
Another business is,
Yes.
maybe it was probably during the ARPA fund conversation, but the trucks, I guess, for highway department are reaching their limit, right? Did you not hear that?
I just heard Lucy asking Kevin at a previous meeting, you know, you're gonna need any equipment? You're gonna need a new truck or anything like that?
Or is-
That's like I say, it's like asking a 7-year-old if he wants 7 candy bars for supper, you know? I mean, I don't even know that was brought up. I mean, when was the last time you saw one of the big highway trucks even on the road?
I haven't seen one.
They don't use
Okay.
it very often. They use the smaller trucks.
I know, it. That's what I'm saying. Why is he so worried about buying a $200,000 dump truck, you know?
Well, I think it's the same thing, you know, the fire department demonstrated very well the need. It shouldn't be just one of these, throw it out there and there's a hook and then they've got to demonstrate there's a real need.
What I said, my thoughts were, okay, now Kevin originally was going to retire in June. Then he was going to retire in September. Then I heard he's staying on for a while, but I'm going to say sooner and not later, we're going to be looking at a new highway superintendent. I think you should let that gentleman come in, assess what he's got and what his job requires, and then let him decide what he's going to need for equipment, if he does need anything. Why would you buy something and dump it on a new guy, just saying, here you go?
Yeah, and I don't see us going back to the town. Again, I'm talking for the finance committee, unless you guys would disagree, I wouldn't see going back to the town and asking for another override of Prop 2.5 for highway truck at this point in time, if we have perfectly functioning equipment. Again, it may be something that gets put on the capital plan
That's what I
for
thought.
3 years or 5 years down the road. We can start talking about and planning for it. But I don't think it's something you gotta run into and say, we're gonna get one in this fiscal year.
No, and that's my whole thing with all this is budgeting for the future and saving money for the future instead of doing these Prop 2.5
Overrides.
overrides. Because your police department needs some equipment, highway department needs some equipment, plows, rust, right, the front ends and shit.
But we do have the account set up for the police cars. So we get a new police car every, what is it? 3 years, 5 years?
I think it's 5.
I think it's 5 too, yeah.
So, but like, the police have, all their radio equipment has to be replaced this year. I know that. I know it's junk.
And last I heard, they thought they might get a grant for that.
Thank God.
I don't know if Tim did, but Tim was working on it
Yeah, I know.
before I left
For
for
both of them.
California. Yeah, he was working on the whole project, so I don't know what happened there.
But whatever. But my whole thing is all these 3 departments need stabilization funds for future projects.
They do. I agree. And we've talked about that for a number of years.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it implemented because every year when we get down to the end of the year, there's not a lot of extra funds to say, okay,
And this is where it comes back, circle around.
Yeah.
To not doing level set budgeting.
right, but the school always, well, the last few years, the school has just been
It's every year.
very high, and it's been hard to cover the school, Wabash School District's budget. When they're looking at 7-8% increases, and we're looking at a 1% in the town, and that basically takes us into, our budget. So that's another thing that we'll need to talk about as we get into the budget.
Understood.
Thing. Old business, anyone got old business? I had a couple of things that I'm still waiting to get back from the Board of Selectmen. I had asked again about the
IRS thing.
the whole IRS question and the requirement that the highway department submit their mileage for personal use of town vehicles. And Don actually wrote a fairly long response. Did you send that to him or to me? Did you see my?
To you.
That was to me. Okay, well, you addressed it to Don.
I think I said just to you.
No, you said just to you, but then you wrote Don. So I didn't know if you meant to send it to Don or me.
No.
Oh, okay. You said just to you, Don, instead of just to you, Alan. So I said, oh, maybe he sent me the wrong email.
No, that was just to you.
Yeah, Don's basic position is that it's an issue, is what they're now realizing, but that the prior treasurer collector is liable for for not collecting because he told Kevin he didn't have to submit it, or she told Kevin he doesn't have to submit it. Now, but they were saying that before she retired. So it's one of these, they're pointing fingers like this, there's really nothing there. But it sounds like the outside counsel thinks something needs to be done. And he said they were gonna bring it up as soon as they had a couple of meetings with Aaron now on the board. Of course, now Lucy is out, so I'm not sure what they've done. Again, that's on my list of things to ask about on Monday night coming. So I'll be there Monday and I'm gonna follow up on it. It's really, I think, the only old business thing I had put down here.
I did talk with Edna about that.
Oh, did you? Okay, good. What did she have to say?
We were trying to figure out what year it was. It might have been 2011, okay, that the DOR came in and did an audit and asked about department heads or any employees taking any town vehicles home. And at the time, she said the police department, the fire chief, and the highway superintendent. And they said that the police department and the fire department were public safety issues. And they were qualified to take the vehicles home. The highway superintendent, the highway department is not a public safety designated function, so his usage is part of his income It has to be reported and taxed as such. So he was ordered at that point to start doing mileage reports. And I know Elliot Starbuck was a selectman at the time. I personally believe that the fact that he was ordered at one point to do this and he decided not to do it again, I think the selectmen really need to do something.
And I think that they agree, Paul, they get to the point where.
You know,
they're
I mean,
looking at
even
it.
if it's just a written warning and putting this, file stating that, he's insubordinate for not doing what he was, ordered to do. At least would show that the town has taken some action, okay? It should take a little bit of the liability factor off of the town.
And I think the Board of Selectmen have pretty much everything you just said. I mean, we've had some correspondence back and forth on it. They've been delaying taking any action, but I think they acknowledged in that last email. I don't know what you read, Corey, but I read it as they kind of agree that something needs to be done.
Yeah, with full respect to Paul, I think that the finance committee, we did our duties.
Yep.
To push it to the board of
And
selectmen.
bring it forward.
I don't believe we have any ability
No, but
to
it's,
pursue it more. We've identified it as a concern and we've moved on.
I agree.
Again,
Yeah,
fully
no, I
hearing what you're
understand.
saying.
I just-
It's all been documented in writing to the Board of Selectmen, so they have to address it.
Whatever the
with
rules and
them.
regulations are, they're not following it. and
Correct.
Unfortunately.
So the ball's in their court,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, and again, I think the earlier answer was we're waiting for the new selectman to be elected, which happened. But now after what, 2 meetings, Lucy is incapacitated for health issues. So they're still down to just not having a full board. And it's probably just gonna sit until they have a full board. But again, I will bring it up again on Monday.
It's a continuation of Paul's comments about 2011. Did those audits, those town audits that you sent out for 2021, 2022, did Paul get to see those? I thought that the highlighted, the bullet points in them, you would find fascinating.
I think you did get it. Did I get you a copy of it?
From that far back?
No,
this is
from
so-
21, the 2020.
21? Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
you
see
copied
it,
that,
yeah.
you got to it. I really don't have anything else for old business, guys. Does anyone else have anything?
No.
Let's see, the minutes from 9/13/23, which was our last meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review those?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Any comments or any further changes are needed, do you think?
No.
Okay, make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from 9/13/23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. And the only other thing I have down here is to schedule the next meeting. We're gonna start getting into the budget cycle, so it's gonna get busier.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to do one a month here during the late summer and early
Of course.
fall, just, there's really not a lot going on, but come November, we're gonna start getting real busy again.
It's really usually after Halloween.
Yeah, and I'm thinking either right around the end of October or the first week of November.
First of November is Wednesday, so.
Is a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Why don't we tentatively say November 1st? If
6
you
o'clock.
plug it in
I'm gonna do that right now.
and 6 o'clock. And as we get closer, we can make a decision if there's a need for a meeting then, or if we want to wait another week or two, just depending on where we are and getting going on the budget. So 6 p.m. on November 1st.
Can I just throw something out? Did anybody got any thoughts about who might be a good possible addition to the finance
I
committee?
do have somebody that I want to reach out to. He's,
With your approval, I might try to approach Sean Blood again. Sean Blood had been a finance committee member and he was very good. He basically stepped away because of the controversy, the constant bickering really between the select board and the finance committee at the time he was on. And I talked to him probably about a year and a half ago and talked to him about it, and he said he really couldn't because his grandmother was living with him and she was like on hospice, and he was like her care person. His grandmother passed away a few months back. And I didn't want to approach him again too soon. But if you
No,
know,
I would
you
love.
people don't have any
I
I
put
know-
forms
I don't
out.
know
me
the man, but I
approaching
would be
him, I might go down and ask him again if he might consider
Well,
it.
I don't know him, but I have no qualm. I would really like to get back to 5 people. And we did have, you know, when I came on it, there was 2, I was the third.
He's,
We stayed at 3 for a long time. We got up to 4 and then 5 in the last 2 years.
he's on the I-team for like UMass Memorial. That's what he, that's his
Okay.
forte. And
I put out a few feelers, nobody has time, and I was really honestly hoping that Suzanne might come back in 3 to 6 months.
She has expressed an interest, but not a commitment.
Yeah.
So
And I have somebody that.
you're gonna get someone, okay. I don't have anyone to bring forward, but I think that'd be a good idea, Paul. I'd love to have you ask him if he's interested. I mean, I talked to Maribel probably about a month back, after, seemed like it's been about a month since Suzanne resigned.
Yes.
About putting it on the reader board out here.
Yeah.
Because that's really, where I think you came from. Or I'm not sure quite how you made the connection, but you kind of reached out. I mean, we didn't recruit you is what I'm saying. You kind of took the initiative to come forward.
Word of mouth in town.
Okay. And Suzanne was the same way. So I know she reached out. So I think getting the word out to people would help. So I think Maribel was going to do that, but I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, Corey, I don't know if you're aware, Town Clerk Christine Madrose, she submitted her retirement request for like December 21st, I
Yes.
think.
That'd be a big
So,
change.
I mean, she's always been a wealth of information for the committee, and
Very much so.
it's gonna be a tough office to fill.
Yep.
It is.
All right. If no one has anything else, I think that's a good idea, Paul. I would ask you to reach out. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that, again, we want new members. I think having more is better. If we run into the problems like, well, again, we just ran into where I was gone the last, week plus out in California. Everyone's got personal commitments, so having a larger group would be better. So yes, and if you guys have ideas, just ask them to come in and talk to us or meet with us or whatever they want to do. All right, with that, it's 6:41. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.